hello, people. How's it going? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Not so long ago, a few days ago, Arsenal played against Bayer Leverkusen. In Leverkusen, we drew 1-1. Not the greatest result, shocking performance, and all this good stuff, as we all know. But no rest for the weary. No, absolute zero rest for the weary. We have to dive in back into Premier League action just before, of course, international break and all this stuff takes over us, unfortunately, obviously. But yeah, Arsenal versus Everton. It's going to be interesting. It will be rough. It will be tough. I don't even know. There will be question marks. And for me, the biggest one is it time for Arsenal to do damage control, or is it time to rotate a tiny bit? Because Arsenal actually can afford a tiny bit. We should be able to beat Everton, but let's be real, with Arsenal, you never know. And we all know that it's always not the case when we talk about Arsenal, that when they rotate, I'm very sorry, my camera went out of focus, that when we rotate, we tend to look very weird. And even when we don't, we look very weird. So we're going to talk about all that. So people, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the stream. And of course, don't forget to leave your thoughts about the Everton game in the live chat as well. How you feeling? Are you looking forward to it? What do you expect? Your predictions and all that good stuff. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about predicted 11. And of course, in the end of the stream, we're going to do some predictions as well. But there are some Arsenal news, ironically enough. There are some Arsenal news as well. So we're going to get into those in a second too, because there are some interesting ones. Let's just put it that way. There are some interesting ones which, let's just put it that way, for Arsenal, it does bode well, and it doesn't bode too well. Let's just put it that way, because it's going to be interesting to see how this is revolving around Arsenal. But of course, there's some transfer talk, which is going to be very, very, very interesting. Big up Mubarak as well in the chat. All pressure is there, but I kindly request Arteta not rotate on the game of Everton. For sure, Arsenal must concentrate on EPL first. We need to concentrate on everything. And technically speaking, we can afford to rotate for this game. We can rotate some players. Depending on the injuries, on the knocks, depending on what Arteta wants to do, we can rotate a few of them. We cannot rotate them all, definitely. We cannot rotate them at all. Big up Roy. Another huge weekend upcoming for Arsenal, yeah. Every single game for Arsenal from this point forward, and it's been a while for that, like that as well. It's a final. It's a cup final, no matter how you look at it. In Champions League, it's a final no matter what, because if you lose, you are out. In FA Cup, if you lose, you're out. In Carabao Cup, well, you either win it or, well, you're screwed. And, of course, in Premier League, if you lose, you give advantage to Man City. So every single game Arsenal are having from this point forward, and even before, is a cup final. And we cannot afford to drop points. In Premier League, maybe we can afford to drop points, obviously, knowing that City is, not knowing, but I expect City to drop some points as well. But saying that, we cannot drop points just because, well, if it goes south at any point this season, right? Let's just say we don't win the Carabao Cup, it could have some long-term damage for Arsenal. Carabao Cup is not that far away as well. It's just around the corner, people. We are not that far off. And it's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal respond to this, how Arsenal are going to do things, because we have the Carabao Cup before the international break, of course, as well. Big up, Bargav. Big up. How's it going, my bro? How's it going? I'm good. Everything is good and fine. Looking forward to the weekend. Gonna go relax out of city with my family and some friends. So I'm feeling fantastically well about that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch the Arsenal game. It also most likely means I won't be live tomorrow as well. Just a little side note. But I will watch the game on replay, and then we're going to discuss this on Sunday too. 1-1, surely we can go through that. Defense for Leverkusen got some decent internationals. They do. Look, to be honest, Leverkusen it has the third best defense in Bundesliga. They have 7 losses, 5 draws. Those draws are kind of doing them over, and on those some losses and some unexpected losses as well. In Champions League, they've been quite solid, I'm not going to lie, overall speaking. And no team right now in round of 16 can be taken lightly. You know, there are 2 ones that stand out for everyone, and those are Lisbon Sporting and Bodo Glimt. They are luckily for them, to a degree, they are playing each other. Bodo Glimt won the first round 3-0, right? So one of them is going to go further, get some extra money, and maybe next year they can go again. If we play like how we played recently, low block, stubborn Everton will be hard. And I expect that. That is the big thing. I expect that right now. Because Arsenal have been playing this, playing like that throughout pretty much the whole season. We have had some good one-half performances. We haven't had a good 190-minute performance. We mostly have one good half. It was like that against Villa, against Leeds, against Bayern Munich, against Atletico Madrid, Inter Milan, and all these teams. It's usually one half. Arsenal somehow cannot string together a full 90, which ultimately for Arsenal is one of the biggest downfalls in certain games and with certain results that have not gone our way. Let's just put it that way. The draws against Sunderland, against Villa, the loss against Villa, the loss against Man United and everything. We were not great. We were not fantastic. We just cannot string some proper performances together overall. Yes, we can some bits and bobs do here or there, but we cannot string a full game together. And as well, in the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if we have one goal lead, we sit back more than usual. We give all the power, all the possession to the opposing side and by the pressure. And it has caused a lot of panic, a lot of instances where, if last year, ironically enough, right, there were points where I was sitting there, I was looking at the game, we were 1-0 up, and I thought, it's never in doubt. It's never in doubt. Right now, when I see the same instances when we are one goal ahead, last 10, 15 minutes, we invite the pressure, I'm not so secure anymore. I'm genuinely believing that any cross that's going to come into the boxes, it's going to be a goal. And that, for me, is one of the biggest worries, because one lucky bounce, it's a draw in the end. If Arsenal don't manage to score, God forbid we concede, and that's it. All the power goes to the other team, or in Premier League instance, to Man City. So, yeah, it's not great. Igor in, 4 games later, Igor out, Spursy. True, but Igor Tudor as well. What did they expect? Let's be real. What did Spurs expect from this crap, from this manager? He has had 14 jobs in 15 years. What did you expect? He has conceded 14 goals in 4 games. The defensive master. His defense is as useful as an umbrella on a sunny day, basically. Like Spurs, if they stick with this, they are going out. They're out of Champions League, and they are gonna go down in Championship, and that's gonna be quite interesting to watch, to be honest. Spurs versus Swansea and all this stuff could be a spectacle, and I'm not so sure they can even beat Swansea at this given time. Let's be real. Big up Rashid. Big up Rashid, the level-headed Arsenal fan, Rashid. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Hope you're doing well today, brother. If you haven't already subscribed to Rashid, go drop him a sub. He streams. He has panel shows, elite panel shows with elite people. Northside, Jez, Shane, Lee, Gunnar, everyone, like proper ones. So go, people, go show him some love and support, of course. I see Arsenal going 1-0 down to Everton before we come back to win 3-1. Ironically enough, 3-1 was one of my predictions in my head, like with Arsenal. But at the same time, I'm kind of caught in between 2 minds with this prediction specifically. I haven't figured anything out. Last time we scored more than 3 or more goals was basically Spurs, obviously, in the league, and then it was 2 weeks before Sunderland. It's been a month almost since we've scored 3 goals. And if we don't count Spurs, who are basically Spurs, if we count Sunderland, it's been more than a month. So we don't blow teams away. We don't go for the final blow, for the knockout punch. We don't go for that. We just go with the flow. If we score, we sit back. If we concede, we go again. And to be honest, sometimes it is 10 times harder to, for example, from the control settings, from basic settings, to kick in from the first gear, kick into 5th gear to score that second goal, than actually scoring those 2-3 goals on a bounce and then just sit back and see what happens. And I just wished Arsenal put games to bed much, much more early, because we have had chances. We have had the opportunities. You can very clearly see that when Arsenal score a goal, many times the other team is on the back foot. They get a bit shaky. They get a bit nervous. There are holes in the defense. Their midfield is a bit distraught. At the same time, Arsenal do nothing about it. That is the biggest issue here. because Arsenal give them the possession somehow. All of a sudden, after we score, we cannot give up string two passes together, two foot passes. Let's be real. And they get the ball, they get confidence once again, and they go for the tying goal. And it's very worrying at the moment. If I had this belief in defense that it's gonna hold up throughout the whole game, at the moment in this defense, as great it has been throughout the season in Premier League and everything, I'm having doubts when the game is on the line, when the game is at its end part of the game, especially. Because these last 10, 15 minutes, as I said before, when I watch Arsenal play, those are the scary hours. One of the most scary hours you can imagine. It's very, very worrying. Let's just put it that way. Spurs have lost 6 games in a row for the first time in history. Spurs haven't won in 10 games or something like that in a row in all competitions. It's actually for the first time in about 30, 40 years in Spurs history. Or if it's not the first time in Spurs history, because when they lost 11 or 11 games on the haven't won 11 games on the bounce or 12 games on the bounce in all competitions, it was the first time since 1992-93. So Spurs are definitely in this situation where they are looking like the prime favorites to go down. And it's not West Ham, it's not Nottingham Forest, but they are looking like the prime candidates to go down. And looking at this week's fixtures, as weird as it may sound, right? This, where are Spurs? Spurs are playing Nottingham Forest, right? No, Spurs are playing, where are Spurs? Spurs are playing Liverpool, never mind. The Spurs are playing Liverpool. And if Spurs lose, Forest just have to beat Fulham. West Ham, well, they're not going to beat Man City, but if they get even a draw out of it somehow, it's Spurs are looking for a very, very long last 7, 8 games. And looking at this manager, looking at these players, we talk about Arsenal's mentality issues. Not gonna lie, the Spurs mentality is 10 times worse. And at the moment, looking at how they play, looking how they look on the pitch, how the tactics are working, well, not working, let's just put it that way, I don't see them staying up. I genuinely don't. And there are almost every single Spurs fan is calling for Spurs, for Tudor to be sacked, obviously. And to a degree, maybe Spurs need to cut the losses and do that. Because at this stage, they don't need a manager who is a tactical genius, who is a phenomenal. At this stage, holy crap, my camera went out of focus. For me personally, at this stage, they need a manager who basically can put a hand around them, who can tell them everything is going to be fine, believe in yourself and trust in me and all this stuff. Toy Story, you got a friend in me and all this stuff. They need someone like that because everything starts with confidence. And at the moment, it's very evident that it's being shattered to bits. And Tudor, definitely, it's not the manager who's going to basically put it all together. Let's just put it that way. Spurs versus Forest is a £200 million game. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be rough. It's going to be fun. And I'm not going to lie, it's not looking great for Spurs because I trust more in Forest than I trust in Spurs. I think Arsenal players and Arteta knows that Everton is one of clubs always sabotage Arsenal's season. Most of the time, yeah. Most of the time, it's been rough. But it's mostly Everton at Goodison or the Dickinson Stadium right now. It's usually at their ground. At our home, most of the time, we tend to do well. Obviously, last year we drew, but last year also was a shit show for Arsenal, right? To a degree. But overall, we do fine against Everton most of the time. On the other hand, what David Moyes is doing with the team, with Tarkowski, Brunthwaite, Pickford, and all these Betos and everyone he has, it's actually remarkable to a degree. They're looking very, very solid. They're a very well-drilled team. They're like a well-oiled machine. And I fully expect for Arsenal to have massive struggles. Pickford usually has a very good game against Arsenal, no matter how you look at it, no matter what state Everton is in, no matter what state Arsenal are in. Pickford usually turns up against Arsenal. And Tarkowski, one of the main leaders in the team, he knows how to get the job done, how to defend. And he's one of those with dark hearts who knows how to properly do it. The Burnley settings under Sean Dyche and everything. He knows how to do this stuff. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Arsenal fare tomorrow. I just hope I can see the game tomorrow because obviously, as I said, I'm going out of town with my family and friends. So it's going to be, I might actually not be able to see it. I may need to rewatch it as a replay. basically, and everything. Big up, Quaja. Big up, big up, big up. Hope you're doing well. Big up to everyone, people. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to put your thoughts about Arsenal in the chat, about the season in the chat, and everything. Don't worry, because the quadruple charge is on, dude. I don't use that. Because for me personally, everyone's speaking about the quad since the beginning of the season, right? And for me personally, you can start to have quad talks when you have at least 2 of the 4 trophies. You can start to have treble talks when you have the Carabao Cup. You are confidently first in the league, and now you're looking at FA Cup and all this stuff, right? This is one of those situations where Arsenal need to have some material evidence that they can do it. Because if they get it over the line in Carabao Cup, I will have more belief and trust in this team that they can win the Premier League. But if they fall short in that Carabao Cup final, I think the whole ground will start to shake like it's an earthquake beneath Arsenal and Arsenal's players. And it could definitely derail the team in a very hard way, because the biggest issue with this team, besides Arteta, obviously, is the mental aspect, is the mentality. And it's very evident that if something goes wrong, it affects the whole team, and not in a very good way. Not in a very good way. We have seen this. We have balled top 4 when we were a few points clear with a few games to go for Spurs. We have balled the lead 8 points clear. We have balled the league when we were chasing as well. And last year, the less said than better. Let's be real. We should have beaten Everton 3-0 at their ground earlier this season. Pickford is their only player who worries me, and he is their goalkeeper. Exactly. Pickford always turns up against Arsenal. Pickford somehow knows that this is Arsenal and he needs to step up 100%. But overall, I think it's not, at this stage, it's not just going to be Pickford. I also fully expect to Tarkowski, because Tarkowski is one of those who's, if Gyökeres plays, 100% it's going to be rough. If Gyökeres plays, it's definitely going to be very rough for him against Tarkowski, first of all. And looking at the... let's. I want to check the predicted 11 at least, who could be playing, because, yeah, predicted lineup. Let's just say Tarkowski and Keane, those two are going to rough us up. Dye, McNeil, they're going to be a handful, definitely, defensively. Garner is in a form of his life. They are, what's its face, Man United are looking at him to buy him for about 60, 70 million even, to a degree, maybe 50 if they get lucky. Garner as well has been very good breakout player for Everton. And it's a shame, to be honest, to a degree, that Jack Grealish is injured for them, because if Jack Grealish was not injured, it's a very, very interesting team, to be honest, how their season could have fared out, how their season could have basically evolved throughout all these games, because Grealish also was on fire for Everton when he joined them. Big up signature. Big up signature. Hope you're doing well. What are your thoughts on now finishing 8th place in the championship being enough for a playoff position? Yeah, I don't know even. I actually don't know. Obviously, it means that the 3rd place is going to play the 8th, 4th is going to play the 7th, and 5th is going to play the 6th, and some weird crap like that. Like, there will be more games. It's basically maybe meant for Spurs to have an easier way up, but I'm not too sure Spurs can survive even that. Let's be real. But ultimately, I know they want to give more teams more chances, right? But at the same time, kind of wish they didn't change it, because some things, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think Championship in that regard has been very, very good. Very good in the promotion. The first 2 places go automatically up. The 3rd place goes through the playoffs. Obviously, you would wish that the team that wins Championship actually gets more money than the team that wins the Championship final for the 3rd place, because that is arguably the most expensive final in the world, and somehow that team gets much more money than the team that actually wins Championship, which again makes no sense. But hey, yeah, I guess it is what it is. It looks like it's Millwall or Middlesbrough for that 2nd promotion spot from the Championship. Any thoughts on these 2 teams? Well, personally, I would love to see Middlesbrough coming up. Millwall, it's I don't know. I have nothing against Millwall, but I much prefer Middlesbrough. Basically, Coventry are gonna come up. There are 9 games left, and they most likely are gonna come up as the first team. It's between Borough and Millwall being the second place. To be honest, Ipswich is only 3 points away, and they have a game in hand on Millwall. So it's not as well pretty much set, because goal difference is in favor for Ipswich Town by a mile. And to be honest, I can actually show you this. Let's just put it that way. I can actually show you this, because since we are talking about Championship, and people actually are interested in Championship for teams that are gonna come up, and I like it because it's a bit different dynamic. But look at this. Ipswich has a game in hand, right? And if they win that game, they're on the same points as Millwall. But Ipswich are gonna have better goal difference, so they actually might be coming up, right? They will be third, and then they're gonna fight with Middlesbrough. But at the moment, obviously, Wrexham are playing Swansea. If Wrexham win, that will significantly increase their chances of coming up. Swansea, well, they are fighting for that spot. They are 5 points behind Wrexham at the moment. If they win, it's going to be 2. So definitely there is lots to play for in Championship as well. There's lots and lots of things to play for in Championship as well. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see which teams come up. Rice and Martinelli to start. We'll see. To be honest, we don't have many options for that left wing. So when we're going to do the 11, we're going to do 2 starting 11s. One is going to be predicted 11, and one is going to be the 11 I would want to see. We're going to do 2. I read that Spurs, for not finishing paying off their stadium until 2050 relegation, could see them go bankrupt. I don't think Spurs are going to go bankrupt. They're going to find a way to pay everything off, right? But the player salaries are going to decrease by half. Obviously, we all know that. Some players are going to go, so they will get some money in. Obviously, by dropping out of Premier League, they will basically lose about 200 to 300 million in TV revenues, sponsorship deals, and all this stuff, which definitely is going to hit the pocket very heavily. But to a degree, looking at Spurs, they actually have some very good young players. You know, your Odobers, your Tells, your Bergwalds, and players like that. They definitely could. Spurs, if they want to be a proper team, they could do a rebuild in Championship for that season and use more youngsters to get them more experience, and they actually could be doing a very good job. The issue with that is Tudor is not going to stay for the next season. Who they going to bring in for the Championship? Which manager, a proper manager, will want to come even to Championship? Because no big name most likely is not going to go to Spurs and Championship. That is the another big thing, because they can pay the money. There's obviously no issues about that. Big up Gunnar SC. Hope you're doing well. But let's look at some news in the footballing world, which I hope maybe Arsenal could be impacted by. Let's just put it that way. That are directly or indirectly in terms surrounding Arsenal. And the first thing I read today when I was on a break at work was that Inter Milan, allegedly, that's according to Gazzetta dello Sport, right? Apparently Inter Milan are willing to let defender Alessandro Bastoni and midfielder Nicolo Barella leave in the summer should they receive suitable offers for the Italian duo. They'll use the money to invest into the squad across multiple positions. Obviously, for me personally, Bastoni and Barella are the two biggest players, besides Lautaro Martinez, let's just say 2 biggest Italian players in Inter Milan. They are core of the Italian national team. Bastoni is a fantastic defender with the technical abilities, passing abilities, and everything. He has that Italian grit, right? As much as Arsenal don't need Bastoni, I'm not looking at Bastoni to that degree unless Gabriel or Saliba go, right, this summer, which I don't see it happening. Well, unless we win nothing, potentially, then maybe. I'm more looking at Nicolo Barella for that 8 spot, which means Declan Rice would be dropped into a 6, his actual natural position. I would love to see Rice in the 6 and Nicolo Barella next to him in the 8. Absolutely would love it if that would be the case. And I definitely believe about 60, 70 million could do the job. Nicolo Barella is one of those players I have wanted at Arsenal for quite a while. I just put it that way. And if that would be the case, I would be over the moon with it. Plus, Andrea Berta is Italian. Our head scout is Italian. Maybe they can do some magic there. Maybe, just maybe, who knows? Just maybe, who knows? Some other news regarding Arsenal, and it feels like it's 2018 once again, 2016 once again. Arsenal are preparing, according to Team Talk, contract offers for Bayern Munich's Leon Goretzka and Borussia Dortmund's Julian Brandt, with the midfielder pair set to become free agents at the end of the season. Both have impressive Champions League experience and could provide the Gunners with the depth they need to continue fighting for multiple trophies each season. Now, we have been linked with Goretzka, what it feels like for a century. We also have been linked with Brandt, what it feels like for a century. Now, the big thing is Goretzka is 31 years old. He has never played outside of Bundesliga, pretty much. And I don't know, at 31 years old, I think the ship might be sailed for him to adapt to the league, right? Looking at Julian Brandt, he is, at the moment, Julian Brandt, right, is 29 years old as well. So he's not the youngest one. He's been there for quite a while as well at Borussia Dortmund. He might do the job and everything. The thing about this is Julian Brandt is 6'2". And looking at the team, how it has been built for Arteta, with having 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" guys all on the pitch. Julian Brandt, to be honest, just due to sheer height could be the thing. But personally, I would not say no to any of those. The biggest issue about this is the fact that how much money they will demand as a salary. Because for me personally, and that's a very well-known fact as well, is that when player signs as a free agent, he can demand bigger salary because you pay no money for him to the club and he provides a service. And obviously, Arsenal have money to spend always. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what is what. Some other news about Arsenal revolving around Declan Rice, which these news are actually quite interesting ones and quite fantastic ones as well. Let's be real. Arsenal have approached Declan Rice over a new long-term contract. Rice is contracted to the club until 2028, but the Premier League leaders are looking for the England international to commit his best years to the club. That is according to Sammy Mogbel, of course. Now, Declan Rice at Arsenal, 105 million signing. Definitely he has made a massive impact on the team. But at the same time, he, in my opinion, and we're going to go back to this once again, is being played out of position. He is being asked to do some things he is not fully equipped for. Let's just put it that way, for lack of a better word, in my opinion, right? Because Declan Rice, he can do these things to a level. At the same time, he cannot do them exceptionally well, certain things. He is a bit too clunky. He doesn't have the technical abilities and everything. He looks gassed, and his best position is the number 6. Look what he did for West Ham, where he played for West Ham, how he played for West Ham, how West Ham won the Conference League even and everything. Declan Rice played as a 6, and that is his best position. So for me personally, if we could sign someone like Nicolo Barella, for example, right, and put Rice in the 6, Barella in the 8, for me that screams actually a very good midfield. Very good double pivot midfield, 100%. But Declan Rice signing a new long-term deal, that would be quite fantastic. That would be fantastic no matter how you look at it. Personally, do I think Rice is world-class? Not yet. But at the same time, you cannot deny that he is one of the most important players in Arsenal's team. And ironically enough, he is playing in a position where we don't have an adequate backup for that position. That number 8 spot for Arsenal is one of those positions that seems like a black hole because we spend endless chunks of money for that position and we still don't get the same outcome, the same results. Ironically enough, we have Lewis Skilly, who is an 8/6 in the team, who was that in the youth system, but for Arsenal, he plays left back, which again, it's weird for the senior team, but it is what it is. That's Mikel Arteta, and well, agree to disagree to certain things, right? But overall, yeah, it's going to be very, 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 very interesting. PSG have had their league game postponed in France this weekend to help them prepare better for the second leg in their game against Chelsea. Is this something we need to do in the Premier League? Premier League will never do that. Premier League will never do that. Mostly because so many games already have been postponed, rescheduled, and everything that you need to do it with both teams. And Arsenal are never. It's never going to happen in Premier League because we wanted to do, because we have 4 cup competitions. We have 3 domestic and 1 international, right? Champions League international and 3 domestic ones. If we had just FA Cup, right, there would be some wiggle room. Let's just put it that way. But since we have this Carabao Cup, yes, it's gonna end right now. But this mostly this Carabao Cup stuff apply is during the season when the time we have these games, and when we are in a tight spot. Well, I guess it is what it is. At the same time, why do we need to reschedule games? Because as we got told in the beginning of the season, we have the best squad in the league, the best depth in the league, and the best manager in the league. So this rescheduling shouldn't be a thing. Nobody should be talking about this stuff. Yet here we are. And that's not a dig at you, Roy. Don't get me wrong. But in general, there are people who have talked about this. And obviously, for me, there's a big difference between depth and quality depth, right? It's the strength. People say the strength is in numbers, but let's be real, strength is in quality. Because 15 quality guys will outplay 20 just number guys, just random guys. Let's be real. So at the end of the day, it's more on Arteta. It's how he manages the players, what he does. So I guess we'll see what is what. Big up, Roy. Big up, Roy. It's all good. All good. Work, life, everything is in way. As you saw, I wasn't streaming as much some time ago. And at the moment, I'm a bit more consistent and everything. Life, family, it's always first. Health and everything. Don't apologize. I'm just happy you're here today. Hopefully you have liked the stream, and if you haven't, people, like the stream, subscribe if you're new, and you leave your thoughts in the chat. We need to tie Declan Rice down, but his agent will advise him to hold negotiations back until the end of the season. We really need to win something big this year for so many reasons. True, but I also would not be surprised if Declan Rice resigns, because Andrea Berta has done an excellent job re-signing certain players. Whether there were some guarantees that if Arteta doesn't win, he's gone, or it's going to be under Arteta for the next, let's just say, 3-4 years and everything, I have no idea. I have no idea. Things in football change like that. They change in a split second. Football is a humbler. Arteta has a contract till 2028. So it's on paper, Arteta, or 2027, I think it's 2028. But on paper, Arteta has still 2 more years, 2 more seasons at Arsenal. So we'll see how that's going to go. We'll see how that's gonna go. Time only will tell, of course. But I think we have come to that time when we are gonna talk about Everton game a tiny bit more. We have already touched on it. We have already mentioned it. We have discussed certain things. But we also need to do this. I was thinking of doing 2 starting 11s. That was my thought process of doing 2 starting 11s. Basically, one, which would be the predicted one Arteta is going to put out. And the second one would be mine, starting 11 I would want to see against Everton. So I think we're going to start off with the obvious one, which is Mikel Arteta's 11 that he's going to put out most likely. And then we're going to switch our attention to the one that I would want to see, because that I think is going to be more interesting. Let's just put it that way for lack of a better word. So starting off with the obvious ones, David Raya goes in goal. Like, the Kepa is not going to play at all this season, I don't think. At least, no, he's going to play against Southampton most likely. But yeah, Raya in goal. Timber is going to play left back unless White plays. But I'm sorry, but Ben White against Ndaye on the left wing, I'm having nightmares already. I'm not too sure. I don't trust Ben White anymore. There was a time when Ben White was on par of being one of the best right backs in the league. Right now, after playing with a 3-month necessity of a surgery, being genuinely destroyed by the injuries, I want to get rid of him as well. He has turned into Tomiyasu. Unfortunately for Timber as well, he's kind of following in those steps. If we sign Barcola, then what is going to happen to Zubimendi? What do you mean? Barcola is a right winger / left winger. Zubimendi is a 6. That should not affect anything whatsoever. Let's just put it that way. On top of all that, by the way, Barcola is close to signing a new deal at PSG, which means Arsenal are not gonna go for him if that is gonna be the case. Which at the end of the day means that most likely we are going to go after. I would expect Gordon. I genuinely would expect going after Gordon if that would be the case. Because I can show you this very quickly. According to PSG Insider, Bradley Barcola is on track to extend his contract at PSG. The Frenchman extension is progressing positively. So Barcola is not going to, if he resigns, he's not going to be coming to Arsenal. Let's just put it that way. At all. To say it as it is. Anyways, back to starting 11. Saliba. Now we go with Gabriel. I don't think we're gonna. We are going with Arteta's one, so I'm gonna go with this. Just go with me. This is gonna be what I think Arteta is gonna put out. He's gonna put out the same players. Kinda. I think Arteta is gonna go with this once again. This is the 11 I fully expect Arteta to put out. Eze or Havertz is going to be in the 10, in my opinion. Let me zoom in a tiny bit so you can see more. Oh, yeah, there we go. I think Arteta is gonna... Whoop, too close. Yeah, Arteta is gonna go with Havertz or Eze in the 10. At least this is the 11 I expect Mikel Arteta to put out tomorrow, in my opinion, because we need to win in Premier League. Everton cannot be taken too lightly. Arsenal have no wiggle room for error, which means Arteta will have to deploy pretty much every single best player he has. At least in his mind, that I think will be the case, and that is how he's going to look at it, because Man City are playing West Ham. I fully expect Man City to dismantle West Ham in all ways, shapes, and forms. Just going to put it out there. And we'll see. Genuinely, we're going to see how that's going to develop. But this is the Arteta's 11. Now, let's talk about the 11 I would like to see. Let's just put it that way. The 11 I would like to see in this team for tomorrow, because I think that is going to be much, much more entertaining to think about than anything else, right? It's going to be much, much more. Can I refresh the page and it disappears? Thank God. Why I'm being such a pleb? 4-3-3 most likely. Yeah. Anyways, let's do the 11 I would want to see. Let's talk about the 11 I would want to see. But before that, your comments, people. Your comments. Within the first 15 minutes, we can tell if this is another Wolves type of game. Remember last season was Everton. We drew. Last season is a different story. For me, last season is a different story, personally. I think this season is, again, it's more, let's just say, advantageous for Arsenal. Arsenal are a bit different this season compared to last year. Last year, yes, we had almost nothing to play for. We were out of both cups. Liverpool were 7-8 points away, and we had PSG on our hands. So that's why I didn't expect much. This season, however, it's gonna be a whole another goddamn story. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, the predicted 11 from me, it's gonna be interesting. Is Mikel Spanish or British? We won't be winning the Mikel Derby tomorrow, by the way. The Mikel Derby tomorrow. Holy crap. Anyways, the starting 11, right? My starting 11. Let me know what you think, people, about the starting 11 I would put out. Just let me know, because this is going to be a bit controversial potentially, but we're going to roll with the flow. Let's just put it that way. We're going to roll with the flow. So this would be my starting 11 for tomorrow's game. My personal starting 11. My prediction is Arsenal losing 1-0. Damn. Damn. Gunnar SC thinks Arsenal are going to lose tomorrow. To be honest, based on how we are playing in Premier League, how Arsenal struggle to defeat low blocks, we have no imagination. Everton are going to be very good on set pieces. They're going to be very physical and very rough with us, which Arsenal absolutely despise, by the way, when teams play like that against us. I'm not gonna say I can see us losing, but at the same time, I just like it's gonna be rough. Yes, even more pressure. We could be out of 3 competitions this month. Let's be honest, UCL, we ain't winning it. It's gonna be interesting. It definitely is gonna be interesting because the way Bayer Leverkusen defended, it was actually very good and very brilliant. It was something similar what Diego Simeone has used in Champions League before when. Let's just say if a player leaves a position, another player steps into that, thus covering the space and that gap, and the team was shifting around, which didn't allow Arsenal to find open spaces and open places. Another thing is Arsenal wanted to play over the top balls in the air, which Leverkusen dealt with ease. Let's be real. Leverkusen kept the ball on the ground, and as soon as teams get tough, physical, high press with Arsenal, and they keep the ball on the ground, and don't force Arsenal into physical duels because this team is built in a way to basically win almost every single physical duel, like in Premier League it should be to a degree. Arsenal tend to struggle, and it showed. But yeah, this is my 11, which I would love to see tomorrow. Madueke on the right, Saka on the left, Gyökeres, Norgard in the 6, Rice in the 8, and Eze in the 10. That would be my 11 I would want to see. Let's just put it that way. Against Everton, it's going to be very, 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 very rough. I'm going to be honest with you because this Everton situation definitely is no bueno. The way Everton is going to play, it's going to be like... It's going to be like grinding teeth. Not teeth, sorry. It's going to be... I don't even know the comparison to find. It's going to be basically hell on earth. Let's just put it that way. Big up, Cooper. Big up, Cooper. Long time no see, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's fine with you, with the family, friends, and everything. Hope you are well, my guy. Yeah, and yes, people, don't forget to smash the likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to put your thoughts in the chat. And we're going to go from there, people. You have been fantastic today. You have been absolutely phenomenal today. Drop Saka. The thing is, for me, the biggest thing is drop Saka or not. I wouldn't mind dropping Saka, right? Because he has been nowhere close the same as we used to know him and everything. Arsenal fans, including myself to a degree at times, we live too much in the past. We live too much in the memories, thus taking our focus away from the present, right? But I would want to see Bukayo Saka on the left wing. That is the biggest thing. I would want to see Bukayo Saka on the left wing because he plays on the right and 90% of the time he passes back or cuts inside. His dominant foot is on the inside, while defenders most of the time expect him cutting inside. I think for Saka, it could be more productive and more advantageous to play with his predominant foot on the outside because he can whip in across, and also it would keep defenders guessing because actually Bukayo Saka has actually quite decent right foot as well, and he doesn't use it too often, unfortunately. So playing on the left for Saka actually could be maybe a blessing in disguise and everything and stuff like that. Arteta could destroy Rice soon. Could be the case. Not sure about that yet, but definitely during games he looks quite winded very quickly. For me, again, he's not a 6. He's not an 8. He's a 6. And the way he plays kind of doesn't suit it. Arsenal have spent about what? 200? About 270 to 300 million trying to replace Granit Xhaka from 22-23 season. Seriously, we have spent that type of money for that left 8 spot, and we are losing Declan Rice there, who actually is a 6. Why didn't we buy Rice, and then the money we spent on players like Havertz to a degree, players like Merino and stuff like that, and we bought an actual number 8? Why didn't we do that is another mystery to me. Yeah, Dauman needs to be on the field. Agree, Saka on the left. Yeah, Dauman needs to play. Dauman is the straight opposite of what Mikel Arteta wants to see on the pitch. That is the biggest thing. And Madueke is also quite similar in that regard, because when he gets the ball, Madueke's first thought is go forward. It's not stay backwards, go backwards, pass it backwards, recycle the ball. Madueke actually has very decent close dribbling. He wants to take on his opponent. He wants to blow past him. He has a decent shot on him as well. The issue with Madueke is the fact that his final product in the final third is questionable. Whether it's the final pass, whether it's the final shot, definitely leaves to be desired 10 times more. There's no argument about that, right? At the same time, Madueke is the one that causes chaos, is the one that causes havoc in the final third. And with the pragmatic, systematic style we play, chaos is good, because we need some chaos into that team. And as long as it's controlled chaos, a chaos that is maintained to a level, it actually helps the team more than it does harm to the team. And it's very obvious that with Madueke, it actually works. And it gets very weird in these situations where you watch Bukayo Saka not doing almost nothing on that right wing, and you just sit there and watch the game and think, oh my goodness gracious, I beg Madueke comes on sooner than later. It has come to a point where I, as a fan, actually want to see Madueke on the pitch over Saka. Because at the moment, we cannot live in the past. We cannot use this Saka biasness from what he has done 3 years ago and use it as a statement, as an argument for him not to get dropped. Nobody is bigger than the club. If you're having a stinker, get the F off the pitch. Just like Arteta subbed him off when he played Leverkusen. We need that more. Maybe Saka needs not to play at all. Maybe he needs to have like 2 weeks rest. Maybe he should not go to international duty with Tuchel and have a rest, relax, chill, recover, reset physically and mentally to a degree. Just do something like that. Kind of 10, Gyökeres leading the line. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I will agree with you on this. I put in Eze because I forgot that Havertz is back. But if there is a possibility that Kai Havertz can start, this would actually be very, very interesting starting 11. Because Kai Havertz was out for most of the season for Arsenal. And for the little time he was back before he got injured again, he had better connection, better plays, and better passing system, and better movements together with Gyökeres than Saka and Odegaard have combined the whole season when they have played together, which is very insane. And to be honest, playing Havertz in that 10, and if Arteta, more specifically, could allow him to be more free roaming, be more free-minded, not be so boxed in the Arteta's mental systematic box, like Havertz used to be at Leverkusen when he was a free spirit, basically. We could see something very special because Havertz-Gyökeres connection was actually very decent to watch. And also maybe try something like with a false 9 or double striker, like mid-game rotate formation where Madueke goes right mid, Saka goes left mid, Norgard Rice hold the middle, and we play 4-4-1-1, 4-4-2, something like that, with Havertz and Gyökeres just in behind him or next to him. Like something different, something unique, because playing 4-3-3 every single goddamn game No matter what the opponent is playing, the same style, same system, everyone knows what we're going to do. Hence why it's easy to defend against it. And after 7 years in charge, you would think we would change and adapt. Arsenal fans think that Saka is better than prime CR7. Yeah, sure. A CR7 that wins Ballon d'Ors is worse than Saka, who has won pretty much nothing in his life. Yeah, sure. I get you, but Madueke seems to score goals. Yeah, Madueke scores some very special, not so special to be honest, some special goals and also some very important goals. Just like, for example, Calafiori has done, even though he spends most of his time at the hospital. Just like Zubimendi has done, by the way. Credit where credit is due to Zubimendi. He has scored this season for Arsenal some very important goals. To win the game, to lead the game, to take pressure off the game for Arsenal and everything. At the same time, defensively, as a 6, he is a liability. And I would want to see Norgard there more than actually Zubimendi. Because Norgard is more physical. He actually imposes with his strength, with his physique over the opponents. And we lack that strength and physicality in the midfield quite heavily. Many times we have seen that. And the Norgard's passing is underrated, in my opinion, as well. That could actually work. And the nuts part is Norgard, right? Before Rice obviously asked to be subbed off like a few weeks ago, Norgard, in 29 games of Premier League, had 32 minutes. So basically, he had played 1 minute per game on average, a bit more. As a Brentford captain, Premier League proven, sensible signing, and as a backup, he only plays in cups and Champions League to a degree, but he doesn't play in Premier League, which, when our midfield gets overrun by physicality, seems actually ludicrous. Because we have the tools to deploy in the midfield to try and regain the control of the midfield physically. And we just don't do it. That is the nuts part. But around, big up to you, Cooper. Big up. Have a nice evening, bro. Norgard is clear of Zubimendi. Zubimendi is overrated. Norgard can do the basics, which yeah, exactly. And Norgard can do the basics as an out-and-out 6 that are required from a 6, which Zubimendi cannot do. And looking at the last 2 months, to be honest, at Zubimendi more in depth, how many times he has given some hospital passes, how many times he has lost possession in our final third, which has allowed the other team to create a dangerous chance. Way too many for a 6, and many times as a lone 6, because Rice goes up, Hinkapie goes forward, Timber also goes forward. So basically, we play with Zubimendi and Saliba Gabriel at the back. And if Zubimendi loses the ball, it's 2v2, 3v2, and everything. And we are on the back foot because most of the players have committed forward. Confirmed, Andy Medley has been appointed referee for Everton on Saturday. Stuart Atwell is on VAR. Well, good luck to them. Good goddamn luck to them. I don't want to talk about the refs. I don't want to even indulge into these talks about the referees. After the season, we can have a stream, we can have a talk about this, but during the season where calls go either way, where Arsenal have been robbed, yes, there have been times we have been robbed, but also equally, we have been blessed as well with certain things that should not be happening, right, in our favor. So it's kind of a two-way streak. Yes, sometimes one team gets done more than other, and everything, but that is on them, not us. And to be honest, with Arsenal's team, with Arsenal's quality, we should be in a position where we should not be talking about this. We have all the tools, we have all the players, we have everything to basically go out on the pitch, do our thing, and at the end of the day, get the job done, despite the referee involvements or even before the ref gets involved. We have all the tools to do so, and unfortunately, we just, well, let's just say, choose not to do it. Let's just put it that way. We just choose not to do it, and we just don't do it, which is very, very frustrating. Big up, Marlon. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well today, my guy. But yeah, that tomorrow's game, it's gonna be a nail biter. It definitely is going to be a nail biter. And one thing I wanted to talk about before we talk about the predictions for the Everton game is this, which for me is a very, very, very interesting thing. Look at this. Look at this, people. Bayern Munich have dropped Jan Diomande from their summer shortlist, judging the Leipzig forward as too expensive despite his standout season. 11 goals, 7 assists in 27 games. So 18 points in 27 games. Leipzig want 86.2 million for Jan Diomande. There is no chance in hell Arsenal will pay that, first of all. Second of all, if you are willing to pay 86.2 million, go get me a proper left winger or right winger, wherever he plays. Get me a proper winger. If you are willing to pay 86.2 million for an unproven young player who you know pretty much nothing about besides he has had one semi-good season at Leipzig, you are out of your mind. For that money, you can buy Kvaratskhelia, you can buy Barcola, probably maybe not Desiree Doué, but something in those lines. You can get Leao, you can get some proper wingers. At the moment with Arsenal, best case scenario by the looks of things, because Arsenal are not going to go for Diomande, it's going to be most likely Gordon. At least that's how I'm looking at this right now. Whether it's going to be Gordon or not, I have no idea, but it might be. Yeah, Vigilante is live. I know. Big up, Chris. Big up, Christopher. Hope you're doing well. Domin is not playing for under 21s tonight. So he should be in the squad. He most likely will be in the squad, but we all know that means literally jack shit. That means absolutely nothing. Because he still doesn't get to see the pitch. He just trains with the team, and that's about it. Big up, Kendem Gunner. Big up, Kender Gunner. Hope you're doing well today, brother. Big up, Einer. Hope everything's good with you. Yeah, not Gordon. I don't want Gordon as well. For me, it's Yildiz, Leao, even Barcola, even though Barcola is going to sign a new deal very soon, so most likely we're not going to get him. But yeah, for me, it's Yildiz. For me, it's also, as I said, who did I just say? Freaking hell, my brain is gone. Even Kvaratskhelia to a degree you could sign. Yeah, Yildiz wouldn't be the worst. Saka needs to be dropped. Yeah, Saka, I get it, but at the same time, I would want to see Saka on the left wing. Saka is very predictable on the right because he is going to cut in 90% of the time. Having his predominant left foot on the outside would be much, much more advantageous for Saka, and it could definitely would also help Arsenal in creative department because Saka would not be as predictable. Let's just say it like that. Yeah, same. If we get Gordon, I will be pissed. I didn't like Gordon when he was at Everton, and Gordon has improved massively under Eddie Howe and Newcastle. But for me personally, he is not the left winger for Arsenal at all. Imagine if we lost to Real Madrid 3-0, we would be in war right now. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine if we lost 3-0 to Bayer Leverkusen. Imagine the war then. That would be, that would be just insufferable. Let's just put it that way. That would be the end of the end. Let's just put it that way because there is no other way to put it. No other way to put it. That would be the end of the ends. Seriously. But yeah, people. Hope everything's fine. And it's going to be interesting. Rice with a new deal very soon. Arsenal are doing a very good job, no matter how you look at it. Well, Arsenal are not doing a very good job. That's an overstatement and a half. Arsenal are doing a very good job in terms of where they are this season. Top of the league. They're doing things well. They're in Champions League. They're in Carabao Cup, FA Cup. But overall, will we win? Have no idea. Big up Vigilante for the raid. Big up Vigilante for the raid. Vigilante and Chris Red. Big up Chris. Big up Chris. Big up Vigilante. Hope we are doing well today. Big up to you all. Hope everything's fine with you. Hope everything is very well with you. Hope the Resident Evil streams were fantastic for you all. Big up, big up AJ as well. Big up AJ, one of the best, hardest working mods in the community. Here are the links to Vigilante's both channels, and also go subscribe to Chris if you haven't already. Big up Vigilante and Chris for the raid. Big up. There should already have been a war, especially after the Spurs won the Europa. 100% Arsenal should have done. There should have been something, but everyone just said, hey, everyone was happy. And here is Chris's link. People, go subscribe to him as well if you haven't already. People, go show him some love. Go show Vigilante some love. Hope you enjoyed the stream he was doing, and hope everything is doing well with that. Anyways, people, question for you all as we are moving towards the end part of the stream. Your predictions for Everton versus Arsenal. Let me hear in the chat your predictions for Arsenal versus Everton game, and then I'm gonna give you my prediction as well. Let's compare notes in this regard. Let's compare notes, people. Let's see what is happening here. Let's see what you're saying. Ryan is saying 2-1 Arsenal, another grinding out win. Yeah, Gunnar SC already gave his prediction by saying it's going to be 1-0 Everton. How toxic and negative. Big up Saka. Big up Saka like a boom boom. 2-0 to the Gunners. Big up, big up. Quaja says 2-0 to Arsenal. Big up Vigilante. Big up Vigilante. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great Resident Evil stream as too, brother. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Hopefully, so people, what are your other predictions? Einar is saying 1-0 to the Arsenal. Big up. So quite interesting. Everyone's predicting a 2-1, 2-0 win. Basically, win by 1 or 2 goals by most people. Only, who is it? Only Gunnar SC was saying that we're going to lose. Interesting. Big up, Reedy. Big up, big up, big up. Hope you're doing well. Big up to you as well. Big up to you as well. Hope everything's fine with you this beautiful Friday evening. Let's just put it that way. Hope everything is fine with you. But yeah, people. What else can you... What anyone who didn't give their predictions, people? Let me know in the chat your predictions for the Arsenal game. My personal prediction, which I haven't said to you all as of yet, it is 3-1 Arsenal. I'm saying 3-1 Arsenal. Arsenal need a bounce-back performance. Arsenal needs to do damage control to a degree because we drew against Leverkusen. We need a result. We need to somehow pick up the spirits of the team, let's just put it that way, before the second leg of the Champions League midweek. So I hope Arsenal do the job, and I'm saying 3-1 Arsenal. And I cannot put my money on it. I would not. I think we could actually maybe go even 1-0 down, or we would be 1-0 up, then it goes 1-1, and we win the game in the end 3-1. I think something in those lines. 20% lose, 30% tie, 50% win. Interesting. 50% only at home, ironically. Stinky Joe against Everton. Players are running on empty. We play a match every 2.5 days. Yeah, that's true. We should be doing something. We should be doing something here. Should be some rotation, should be something, but I don't know. Maybe Arteta will do it or not. When was the last time we put 3 past Everton? It's been a while, to be honest. Let me check this quickly while we are here. Last time we put 3 past Everton. 1st of March 2023. We won 4-0. So 3 years ago, we won 3-0. Besides that, to be honest, we haven't lost to them for what? Also 3 years. But yeah, we beat them 5-1 and we beat them 4-0. In 2022, we beat them 5-1. In 2023, we beat them 4-0. So it's been a while, and we just need those goals. We need something. We just need something, because this stream as well, it is titled Damage Control for Arteta or Time to Rotate. Because if we rotate, I can see this being a draw or maybe a 2-1 scrappy win. If Arteta wants to do some damage control after this Bayer Leverkusen, let's just say fiasco, let's be real, we need to score quite a few goals just to pick up the spirits and get it up there. I do not care about age. Dom is better than Sakyo. Yeah, he is, but I don't care about the age. You don't care about the age. Big part of the fan base don't care about the age, but Mikel Arteta, he cares about the other side, his favorites, and one of them is Bukayo Saka. Trust me. 3-1. Luckily for me tomorrow, by the way. Unlucky, lucky, it depends. I'm not going to be at home. I'm going to be out of the town with family and friends. I'm going to be drinking, relaxing. So either way, if Arsenal do get a good result, I'll be celebrating. If we don't, I'm still going to be drinking. So Everton have terrible record against Arsenal away. Yeah, they do. We either draw or win, basically. We don't lose at home, to be honest, most of the time. Honestly, believe Bayer Leverkusen goes all the way to penalties Wednesday night. We play Tuesday, though. No? We play Tuesday, don't we? If I'm not mistaken, we play Tuesday. Sunday, Monday. Yeah, we play Tuesday. 8 p.m. kickoff. We play Tuesday. Big up, Gavin. Big up, big up, big up. Big up, Chris. Big up, Chris. Hope everything's fine with you. Hope everything's great. 10 points clear is what we need to do before Manchester City play West Ham. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, City have a game in hand. That, for me, it's a 3 points for them at the moment until that game is played, because I'm looking at the worst-case scenario. Let's be real. So we need that gap to increase. More pressure to them. And West Ham are fighting for their life, by the way, to basically stay up. So there might be something special for that game. Well, hopefully. That's wishful thinking, obviously. Copium and copium. But hey, when was the last time Everton won at Arsenal? I cannot remember, and I'm 42. Yeah, like, let me check quickly again, right? And then I'm gonna go. But let me check this. Arsenal versus Everton. Last time Everton won at the Emirates, right? At the Emirates. Last time Everton won at the Emirates was 23rd of April 2021. 1-0 win. 2021, 23rd of April. So pretty much exactly 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Oh, he will. He will. But yeah. People. If you haven't already, smash the like. Subscribe to the channel. Have a great evening. Enjoy the game tomorrow. I'm going to go relax with family tomorrow. For today, I'm going to be signing off. I'm going to redirect you to Lee Gunner's watch along for Deportivo Alaves versus Villarreal. And hopefully, I'm going to see you soon. Peace.